All right, everybody, welcome back. Once again, thank you for joining me on my channel here on YouTube. And if you're here on YouTube and you're not watching this on my website, I recommend checking out my website here, www.danceofthecosmos.com. Again, my name is Dan Hendricks, and this is part 3 of our discussion here about karma, fate, free will, and astrology. And so we're going to get into part 3, which is time and karma. And I think that this is one of the most important discussions to understand, is that because karma, like we talked about in video 2, being related to the causal body and being the cause of everything. In video 1, we talked about how karma is said to be like these things that we are in bondage, this debt and bondage that we have of why these things are happening in our lifetime, because they're some kind of attachment that we've had from the past. And then we also, so now what we're going to get into is we're going to kind of talk about the relationship of time and karma. So what I want to come from here is my experience with this. So now I'm going to actually talk about an experience that I had in my childhood. In my childhood, I would like be in this dreamlike state, and I would have these what I thought were just pictures. You know, I had this flash visual, just very bright, vivid picture I would get in my head, and it would just come to me, and I'd be like, whoa, what was that? Why is it so lucid or so prevalent, so easy for me to remember and so strong? And then I would go forward, and it would be something, it would be a situation maybe that I hadn't seen before. And then sure enough, I'd be in a situation where that exact picture was taken from my perspective. So here I was in the past getting this picture of what was going to happen in the future. And so this has really driven me deep into like, what is this experience that we had at a very young age? I was very like shocked. I didn't talk to anybody about it because I didn't know how to process it. No one told me about it. I was like 8 or 9 years old when this first started happening. So I'd have these pictures, and then the actual event would happen, but the event happened exactly from my frame of perspective. And so I went through all this process of understanding what this was. Why did this happen? I'm like, so I had all these ideas about time and all this curiosity and just this fascination of like, what is time? Is time like somehow cyclical, where it's like maybe when I'm in like a dreamlike state, maybe the way things operate is like I'm actually able to not just see my memories of the past, but maybe it's a blend of all of this. That was my thoughts. I had thoughts that were like this, of like, what is this? Maybe somehow there's different dimensions happening at different times, maybe. And so, maybe I'm somehow, my mind is going to the other dimension where it's happening right then. That event happened right then. And then I go through this reality where it happens here. And I eventually got to that point where that actual event was taking place. So I had, and numerous other thoughts. I had all these ideas. It's like, well, maybe time is, like a wheel or a loop, and maybe I'm somehow able to draw from future experiences and bring them into my present state of mind when I'm in that like dreamlike state, where I'm about to fall asleep somewhere in between, right? So anyways, I had all these crazy ideas, and it wasn't until like a year ago, where maybe it was more, maybe less, I don't know, where I had this realization that like, oh my goodness gracious, there's no, what I saw from when I had those visions of the future happening, what it wasn't a time. It had nothing to do with time. It was a karma. I was getting a future impression of the karma that I had. And when you think, and then talking about this idea of Sanchita karma, which is, this huge, like our soul being encased around all its karma that it has to experience, all of the karma that it has to experience, where the prarabdha karma is the experience that we have this lifetime. So what I thought was really interesting is like, whoa, so what I saw in the future wasn't like I was looking forward in time. is I was getting to see the impression that I was indebted to experience. I got a glimpse of karma. And so that really got me into thinking, holy moly, well then what's the difference between karma and time? And that really, and I don't have a concrete definition for you, but what I will tell you in my understanding is that there's really not much definition or not much separation between karma and time, because what it seems like to me is, so karma, because when we talked about the three bodies, right, where we talked about the causal body is the dormant energy of creation, and then the subtle body is giving rise to that, to, you know, is those whatchamacallit, the energies of creation becoming active and starting to initiate a form, right? So it's like karma is there pressing all that forward, and then finally it comes into the gross body where it becomes an experience. And so with that idea, it's like there's a push. Karma is like the push for things to happen. We talked about karma as the debt and the bondage of why we experience these things. And then we also know of events. How do events in our life happen? They happen in some kind of sequential order, which is what time is. And so now what this got me into thinking is that not only is time, it's not just this linear thing that's just randomly moving forward. Time is this thing of, it's got a push of like, let's bring out these experiences. It's like either karma is pushing time forward, or time is pulling karma with it. However you want to look at that, either or, I mean, whether you want to look at one as the chariot and one as the charioteer, either way, the fact is, in my experience, that there is not really a clear separation or definition between the two, between karma and between time. I found that to be completely interesting, because then that ties directly into astrology. And maybe we'll get into that video and call that part 4. But I thought I would just share that with you, because I thought that was another interesting thing to talk about when we talk about karma. And so thank you for watching this video, and namaste.